Okay, so now we're going to do basically what we've been doing in the last video, but using ratios, because remember, fractions and ratios are something that can be used interchangeably. They represent the same things. So again, first things first, what we need if we want to do converting by proportions using ratios, we need a conversion factor. So we need something to, have on the other side of the proportion, some equivalent factor, which is our conversion factor. And then we want to write the ratio with the unknown quantity before the colon and the quantity that you are converting from after the colon. So that's what we already talked about in previous videos. Set up the proportion, cancel the unit that you don't want anymore, and then make sure, remember when we talk about ratios, remember that's when we multiply the means and the extremes. So you multiply whoever's on the outside together, the extremes, and then multiply whoever's on the inside together. So the means. Here we have convert 30 milliliters to tablespoons. So again, first things first, let's first set up our left of the ratio, the conversion factor. Okay, so remember we are converting 2 tablespoons. So that implies that will be on the left of the colon. So we have 1 tablespoon. And we know that that is equivalent to 15 milliliters based off the conversion factor. So for every 1 tablespoon, you will have simultaneously 15 milliliters. And then now we want to represent the right of the proportion. So the unknown factor is tablespoon. That's what we're solving for. So some X amount of tablespoon is equivalent to how many? 30 of how, or is equivalent to 30 milliliters. So milliliters, we can kiss her goodbye. We don't need it anymore because remember we want an answer of tablespoon. And this is where we multiply the extremes and the means together. So for the means, we have 15 times X. And then for the extremes, we have 30 times 1 tablespoon. So 30 tablespoon. And now if we go ahead and perform this division, remember we want to solve for X. So we have to divide both sides by 15. And then that implies that we'll have X on one side and 30 divided by 15 is 2. So 2 tablespoons is equivalent to 30 milliliters. And that is our final answer. Let's do one more problem. So now we want to convert 120 milliliters to teaspoons. So remember, we need our conversion factor. That's the first thing you need to make sure to have because that's how you set up the proportion. So now I'm going to go ahead and set up what I want to find. So teaspoon is the unit, the desired unit. So that's going to go on the left-hand side. That's what we're converting to. And that implies then 120 milliliters is what we're converting from. And that is equal to now what? Well, that's where the conversion factor comes in. That's going to help us out with the other side in the sense of solving. So the left-hand side, remember, is already occupied by teaspoon since that's what we're converting to. Remember, order matters. And then on the right-hand side is 5 milliliters. So again, this is the case where we're going to go ahead and multiply the extremes together and multiply the means together. So for the extremes, we'll have 5 times X, which is 5X. And again, if you'd like, we don't need milliliter anymore. That's a step that in the solving of the equation, it already kind of goes away. So, but if you want to do it in the beginning, by all means. So 5 times X, we get 5X, and then 120 times 1 teaspoon is 120 teaspoons. And then once we go ahead and remember solve for X, so we have to divide by 5 to get that form of 1. And we'll have X is equal to 120 divided by 5 is 4 teaspoons, 24 teaspoons, sorry. And that is our final answer. Okay, in the next video, we're going to go ahead and do a story problem, and then we have a few more things in chapter 12 to worry about.